Foundation. My name is Melissa Evans. I'm the editor of the Post. We've been doing these live chats most of this week, and we have several guests booked for next week. So we'll be announcing who will be on next week as well. But today we're going to be talking about how the public can help by giving and supporting nonprofits. And the foundation has set up a coronavirus relief fund. So Marcelle will be talking about that. So Marcelle's been with the foundation for about 6 years. Prior to that, she worked for Long Beach Transit and also spent some time with the Press Telegram, which I did as well, although we missed each other at the Press Telegram. But she's been in Long Beach for, I think, more than 20 years or so, right?
Right.
So first, I was just hoping, Marcelle, you could just tell us a little bit about what the foundation is, what it does. It's a little confusing. I know you guys do quite a bit.
I'd be delighted. And thank you, Melissa, and thank you for this opportunity to talk about this very important opportunity for the public to get involved. First, I want to just send a special note out to all the families that are impacted by the coronavirus and the layoffs and the shutdowns. It is a major disruptor in our city. And I have to say, from everything that we've seen and heard and the nonprofits and families that we've talked to, it is an amazing thing to see everybody come together and really want to help and really do good. And I think that is representative of our city and how special we are. So thank you. So the Community Foundation has been around for almost 25 years in Long Beach. It was started by some of our founders of the city, the Bixby's, Gene Bixby, our former Mayor Beverly O'Neill, founder Skip Kiesel, and a number of other individuals in the community that really felt we needed a nonprofit to not only help the other nonprofits through grant funding, but also to work with philanthropists to get the money out into the city in a way that enabled them to do it efficiently. Through different giving vehicles, not just cash, but through real estate and stock and other types of foundations, but to really create a trusted source in the community that people knew that they could go to, that when they donated money, it would go towards the donor's intention. And that's why we started 25 years ago. And today we manage about 55 million in charitable assets. We have about 180 different funds, from scholarship funds to funds that mirror family foundations, donor-advised funds, estate gifts. People leave their portion of their estate to the Community Foundation to make sure that nonprofits receive it after they go. So a lot of legacy planning. We have an outstanding board of directors made up of people from this community, chaired by former council member Gary DeLong. And our board is very involved with making sure that our policies and procedures are the best. And a matter of fact, we are National Standards Accredited, which is a designation that is awarded to those who have the highest policies and procedures in the nation. So we take our role very seriously. There's a lot of history to our organization. And we are 4 strong in Long Beach, and we have a back office in Greater Kansas City where we have 60 staff there. So while we are nationwide, our focus is Long Beach. And that's where the Community Foundation money goes. The money from the other funds can go anywhere in the United States. So that's kind of a long description of what we do. But our mission is to provide strategic grant making to the community. So a large portion of our funds do stay in Long Beach. And the programming that we provide in terms of collaborations and help with nonprofit endowments is really to support Long Beach.
And I know in times like this, a lot of the questions that we get in the news business right away, whenever there's a big tragedy, people always want to know how to help. In fact, we posted a story about how you can help, and that story was one of our best performing stories. So I think people are, especially in a crisis like this, where there's so much uncertainty and a lot of people out there suffering, economic impacts, health impacts, people want to know how to help, but often they don't know how or where to give that's safe. So tell us about the Coronavirus Relief Fund. I know it was a collaboration with the city as well, right?
Correct. The Community Foundation, in partnership with the City of Long Beach, and then City Manager Pat West, we got together proactively to figure out how could we create a fund before the disaster strikes, so that we're ready. Because if we're ready to handle it, it's always better to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. But we established the Long Beach Disaster Relief Fund in December of 2018. And by doing that, we created a system and processes by which, if there was a disaster in Long Beach or an emergency, we could actively and activate it. And this is exactly that time. So it was activated last week, and we immediately had donations come in to help coronavirus relief from large family foundations such as Rumba Foundation, the Hope Foundation, Century Club. And as of to date, 100% of the Long Beach Community Foundation board members have donated. Right now, there's about $425,000 in the fund. And so money is coming in very quickly, and our staff is getting it out very quickly as well, because this money should be out to the nonprofits, to schools, and to government departments that are on the front lines helping people around the priorities that we've set.
And I neglected to say this in the beginning, but please, for those who are watching, post your questions in the comment feeds of our social media channels, and they're being fed to me as we're proceeding here. So, and we've already gotten a couple questions about the fund. And one of them is, can these funds help restaurant workers who cannot pay their rent in small businesses?
So the priorities are for the fund to really help the nonprofits that are helping people with food, with sanitation supplies. There is a provision there for microloans to small businesses. And to date, there's one organization that we believe can help with that. What we'd really like to encourage is that no organizations, nonprofits in particular, cannot be a for-profit business, that can help us get the funds out to people to absolutely do that. And so we're just at the initial stages. We just started today with the grant making. We have 19 applications to date, and we're reviewing them, and we hope to provide help with that.
And have you awarded grants yet to nonprofits?
As of today, we will have, and it's about $100,000 that's going out today electronically.
And so the money goes to nonprofits, or you said even city agencies can receive?
City agencies can apply. Now, remember, these are charitable dollars. So the people that are donating on our website at lbcf.org or via text or PayPal to the Corona Relief Fund, we are a 501c3 organization. So it's an IRS designation. You are making a charitable donation. So that money needs to remain in the charitable realm. And it can be done so by, as long as we're distributing it to nonprofits, to schools qualify, and then government departments, like, for example, the Health and Human Services Department of the City of Long Beach could apply and receive those monies as outlined by the IRS. So that's a designation there.
Okay. Can you say yet who is receiving the funds, or is that going to be released later?
I believe that they will be notified, or they can be notified right now if they're listening. But I can tell you that information. Urban Community Outreach, Food Finders, Harbor Interfaith Services, Centro Cha, the Long Beach Community Hispanic Association, that's one application there, and Long Beach Community Table. The priority areas right now that we're distributing money to is serving the most vulnerable people and the organizations that are positioned to immediately assist aid. And it's all in the funding priorities that was set by the city around serving low income individuals for critical expenses, shelter, food, and sanitation for homeless and anybody who's quarantined or mitigated for exposure. Food and supply delivery for people who are homebound. That is a very big priority. Emergency funds for workers that have been laid off. And then the microloans that I mentioned earlier for small businesses.
And that actually answers another question. One of the other questions we just got was, how long is it going to take to get money to the working poor in Long Beach? But it
As
sounds
quick,
like, go ahead.
I was going to say, our role is to get the money out as quickly as possible to nonprofits. So we have transformed our business operations to be 100% electronic. So nobody has to wait for a check. If you're a nonprofit and you've been awarded funding, you will receive those funds electronically. So it gets to you as quickly as possible. Some of the nonprofits are already assisting, like the community Long Beach Community Table. And so we are enhancing what they're doing. Many of these organizations are already positioned to provide aid, and what we're providing to them is helping them serve even more people. So if we get the money to them in a number of couple of days or so, as long as the electronic transfer goes through quickly enough, then they should be able to turn around and help people immediately. We hope to get more donations because the money that we do have is not meeting the need for the applications that we've received. And so right now we are, that's why we're prioritizing, food and shelter and sanitation supplies and the things that are needed immediately, and choosing the nonprofits that can provide those needs immediately.
Yeah, and I was going to ask that too. I mean, what are the most pressing needs? It's food, shelter, sanitation. That's what you're seeing.
That's what we're seeing. That's what we're hearing from the nonprofits. Yes, there's definitely a need out there for people who need basic supplies, and that's what we're trying to get. And if there are people out there that have suffered job loss, and I know there are a lot, these organizations that I just mentioned can be contacted for assistance at the moment, and that list of nonprofits that can be providing aid will be expanded as in the coming days and weeks.
Okay. So the money in the relief fund is meant to help specifically nonprofits that are assisting in the relief efforts for the current pandemic. I know we posted a story last night about nonprofits everywhere across the city, and I'm sure across the county and state and country are really hurting right now, just generally, because these are tough times. We're probably headed in, and again, the uncertainty. Nobody knows how long this is going to go on or last. What are you, because you're in touch with a lot of nonprofits, what are you hearing out there about the situation for nonprofits maybe who aren't in a position to apply for these funds, but just generally?
Well, we're hearing a number of things. For one, I think the most sort of enlightening and inspiring thing that we've heard is the nonprofits that are turning towards each other and helping each other really solve problems because they realize they can't do it on their own. Many have laid off a lot of their staff, and so they're looking to each other to help serve the community. And we hear a lot of concern about future funding. A lot of fundraising galas have been canceled, and those are to be determined when they will be. And what I can say to the nonprofits, it's really follow the lead of some of the other organizations like the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, who have partnered and to provide. They're providing childcare for emergency workers at the moment. But look to that model. The Community Foundation, then under chairmanship of Jane Netherton, provided collaboration grants to nonprofits to get them to think about partnering and collaborating, with the hope that maybe one day they might join forces, because there are several nonprofits out there. There's hundreds in Long Beach, and simply put, there's not enough charitable money to go around. Right now would be an amazingly wonderful time and a great opportunity for nonprofits to look at their peers down the street that are doing similar work and have a serious discussion about what you can do to join forces, to really prepare to think differently, to have a different model in serving your mission and your members or serving the community. And I know a lot of the restaurants and other businesses have pivoted tremendously and quickly to try to think of how they can keep their doors open. And the nonprofits need to also think about how they can follow that model.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I didn't know. So the foundation gives, did you say gives grants for collaboration specifically?
A couple years ago we did, and I want to say maybe years before that we did as well. But it was a kind of a test to see if nonprofits would be willing to do that. Looking, into the future, the generations that are giving right now, people are giving differently.
Mhm.
Different generations give, their time. Some give more of wealth that they've acquired during their lifetime. And so, really, nonprofits need to think about how they are going to keep their doors open and who their audience is, and think differently about how they're going to be serving the public.
I know. I mean, a lot of nonprofits have been saying, like the Aquarium of the Pacific, which is really, has a lot of daily operating costs just to feed and care for all the animals that they house there. Um, and it was pretty universal. They were saying, we just don't feel like now is the right time to be asking for money. Um, so you suggested maybe looking to others, see who else is doing similar work and maybe consider partnering. Is there anything else nonprofits can be doing to maybe protect their resources? I know a lot have been laying people off, but is there any kind of general suggestions you would have for nonprofits?
Well, nonprofits are on a tight budget already as it is. And so I don't know that there's much fat to trim there, but I would encourage them to look at their budget. If they're going electronic now with communication, that might help a little bit. Some nonprofits are not positioned to do that. They don't have the resources, but I think this is a time for nonprofit boards to roll up their
Mhm.
sleeves and get involved. Those are the people that have given their time and their treasures to keep these nonprofits going. And I think now's the time to reach out to them, utilize your board. The board of directors has the opportunity to call on donors and individuals that have supported the organization for a number of years, and really ask for their continued support. It's going to be a very challenging time. It's been a major disruption, and so the I think the overarching theme is to think differently, think collaboratively, think outside the box, and try as best you can to continue serving the needs of the community. And if you feel that that's not something that you can continue to do, use your expertise, use your knowledge and experience to go to another nonprofit that's providing um, similar work, and offer that to them, because there are so many gems in Long Beach, small organizations, large, but it's really the small ones that are operating, that are serving a lot, that I think will suffer the most during this time, because they don't have the larger resources to make it. But they've transformed lives, and there's too many to suggest. But those are the smaller nonprofits. I think that they really need to talk to each other, and if it's an opportunity the community foundation provide, will later on down the line we'll take a look.
Um, so people can donate, I know, on the website. Can nonprofits also find out information about how to apply on your website?
Nonprofits can go to longbeachcf.org. And if they click on the nonprofit link and click on grants, from there, there's the Coronavirus Relief Fund grant application. We have truncated it, made it easier for nonprofits to apply. So it's just fill in the blanks. They do need to have a letter from their leadership. It could be from their board chair, it could be from their executive director. But once they do that, they can also upload their budget, and so we can take a look at that, because we do want to see where these funds are going. And so once we have all that information, we will be turning around those decisions very quickly.
Okay. How is the foundation itself doing? I know you guys are working remote.
Yes. So I made the decision a couple Fridays ago when I saw all this coming, and said we're gonna go remote. Our building, which is downtown Long Beach, had not yet closed, but we thought we would be proactive, and I'm glad that we did. We also changed our processes to be 100% electronic, and so All in anticipation of that, we went 100% remote and electronic as of last Wednesday. And so we did that a few days before everything shut down. We have staff throughout the greater Long Beach area, and we're all talking every day through Zoom, which is new for us. We have remote desktop. We have access everything. All of our files are secure. So we're able to access everything very securely on behalf of our donors and keep our virtual doors open. But it's an interesting challenge, I think, that a lot of people are facing. I'm in my home right now.
Yep.
I made it look pretty, but there are children here, and there's animals, and a husband who's teaching City College remotely, 5 English classes. So we're making it all work. I know that households are very strained right now, ours included. But I really feel that that there is hope in the future, that this will pass and things will get better. And I think that one takeaway that at least I have is that I'm extremely grateful for all of the things that Long Beach provides, and all of the things that my friendships and my family. And this is really a time to just think about what is important. And if you're sitting around and you're not doing much, or you have some downtime, contact the nonprofits I mentioned earlier. Offer to volunteer. Find out what your passion is. If you're passionate about the arts need help right now tremendously. Contact the Arts Council. Contact MOLA. Contact the Museum of Art. Contact organizations around what you're passionate about, and make time to help them. And it might be passing out food or something like that maybe it's not their normal mission, but let's keep Long Beach alive. Let's keep the nonprofits alive, and let's keep philanthropy going, because it's important for our city.
This is such a weird situation, and I can't think of anything similar where everybody's impacted, regardless of where you work or where you live. Everybody is impacted, and kind of managing these changes. And it's been an interesting story to cover, because there's so many different levels. People are hurting economically, and that so there's the real, and then of course the health stuff. But then on the other end of the spectrum, boredom, like you said, so those are some great suggestions just for using some of this downtime that we all have now. And I know you were, I think, one of the first entries that we had in our live blog when we started that. I was going to say a year and a half ago, because it feels like a year and a half ago, a week and a half ago, was the Dancing for Our Stars event, which was a fundraiser for Memorial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Marcelle was one of the dancers.
I have to now remember my dance routine all through summer to get to the new date, which is Friday, September 11th. But it's going to be in September, so I'll be ready and keep my costume by the door, ready to go.
Yeah. That seems, I've actually never been to that event, but it seems really fun. So we'll have to look for you.
Yeah.
And just so you guys who are watching, we will we'll post a little story on our website with the nonprofits that have received grants so far, and we'll kind of update the fundraising total and include all the links if you're interested in donating, or if you're a nonprofit who is interested in applying for the funds. Any closing thoughts?
I would encourage people to contact us if they have questions or comments, just to remember that we are not providing funds directly to the public or to businesses, that it is going through nonprofits. So I would encourage people to contact the nonprofits I mentioned earlier, or nonprofits that are around them, their churches, and find resources there. If you do want to contact the Community Foundation, the best way to do it is through email at the moment. You can leave a voicemail and we will return your call. We do find it very important that we get back to people quickly, so we're doing the best we can. But the email is info@longbeachcf.org, and the phone number is 562-435-9033. And if you have questions about donations, we can also accept other types of donations other than cash. So we have PayPal, we have through text and credit card. But if there is an asset as a donor that you would like to donate, just contact us and we'll see what we can do under these circumstances to donate it to the fund.
Thank you so much, Marcelle, for coming and joining us. Like I said, I know people really want to help in times like this. So thank you for all that information. Next week, we have a couple school people scheduled to come on our live chat. So we have Juan Benitez, who's going to do a talk with Stephanie Rivera in Spanish on Tuesday. That'll be at 1 o'clock as well. On Wednesday, we tentatively have a trauma surgeon coming to talk about being on the front lines, working in a hospital setting during this stressful time. The time might change because we have to work around his schedule. He's very busy, as you can imagine. So that'll be a good one to watch. Thursday, we have Luann Bynum, who was recently appointed the interim president superintendent of Long Beach City College. And on Friday, tentatively, we have Chris Steinhauser from the Long Beach Unified School District. So stay tuned and we'll get through this together. Thank you for watching.